She was just Amara, a poor girl from the village of Isioma. Unknown, unnoticed, and struggling daily just to survive. But one ordinary afternoon, on her way back from the market, she made a quiet decision that would change her destiny forever. She stopped to help a frail old woman carrying kindling. Amara didn't know the entire village feared this woman, she didn't know people whispered the stranger was cursed. And she certainly didn't know this frail figure held a secret big enough to transform her life into something unimaginable. What happened next will shock you and deeply inspire you. The weight of Isioma. The first rays of dawn painted the village of Isioma with a soft golden glow. The air was cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and distant cooking smoke. In a small, humble compound, Amara had already been awake long before the sun. She moved quietly but purposefully, sweeping the room she shared with her mother and younger brother. Though poverty was a stubborn shadow over their lives, Amara found peace in orderliness. Her mother, Madame Neka, sat outside, her hands slow and tired from a lifetime of suffering. Widowed early, she carried her pain with dignity. God strengthens the bones of a widow, she would often say. Establishing character and need. Mama, the day will not wait for us, Amara replied, returning her mother's faint smile. Today was market day, the day they hoped to sell enough garden produce to buy essentials like kerosene, soap, and maybe a small treat for her brother, Kelechi. Every sadi mattered. After a meager breakfast of cocoa, porridge, Amara gathered their harvest, fresh garden eggs, tomatoes, peppers, and leafy greens. As she arranged the woven basket, Kelechi watched her with admiring eyes. One day I will make money and build you a big shop, he promised. The journey. Amara wrapped her faded scarf, adjusted her cloth, and lifted the basket onto her head with practiced ease. May God reward your kindness with good things, Madame Neka blessed her. As she walked the narrow, winding path to the market, Amara carried not only the basket but also silent burdens, her mother's chronic pain, the lingering memory of her father, and the fear that Kelechi's education might fail. Yet, she walked with a quiet grace, greeting everyone she met. She was loved in Isioma for her humility and her willingness to smile, even when life was breaking her in quiet ways. The foreboding. When she reached the junction where the path widened, she paused. Something tugged at her spirit, a feeling she couldn't name. The road ahead led to the market, but just beyond the next bend, a moment was waiting. A moment that would connect her destiny with that of a lonely old woman and a successful businessman on the other side of the world. A moment born from kindness. The crossroads of fear. The encounter. Amara continued her walk, her mind focused on selling. Market days were unpredictable, but she always believed each day carried its own blessing. As she reached the main road, she slowed. Something ahead caught her attention, something that made her heart tug. An old woman was struggling under a heavy bundle of kindling. Her back was stooped, her steps were trembling, and her clothes were worn. A taxi sped past. Boys played. A woman carrying plantains walked by. No one stopped. No one offered help. The old woman's struggle was loud and desperate. The decision. Amara's chest tightened. She hesitated. I have produced to sell. My family depends on this money. But she couldn't tear her gaze away from the woman's shaking legs. At that exact moment, the woman stumbled. An invisible thread pulled Amara forward. She gently dropped her basket by the roadside and hurried to her. Ma'am, she called softly. Please let me help you. The old woman turned, her eyes sharp but tired. No, my daughter, I can manage. Go to the market. Ma'am, this load is too heavy. Please allow me. People don't stop for me, the woman whispered, confused. They say I should not trouble anyone. That is not right, Amara replied gently. After a long moment, the woman nodded. Amara carefully untied the rope. The weight was rough and heavier than she expected, scratching her arms, but she lifted it. The lonely compound. Ma'am, where is your house? Not far. They walked down a narrow, hidden path until it opened into a lonely clearing. Standing there was a small, cracked mud house. No children played. Only silence lived there. Amara carried the heavy load to the back, near the three-stone fireplace. When she returned, the old woman watched her with a mixture of gratitude and disbelief. "You are very kind," the woman said quietly. "What is your name?" "My name is Amara." "Amara," she repeated. "A good name, a name God remembers." As Amara prepared to leave, a promise slipped out, "Ma'am, if I pass this way tomorrow, I will check on you." The old woman looked startled. "You will come back?" "Yes," Amara said. "If you need water or help cooking, I can assist." The old woman's eyes shone with an unexpected brightness. "Go well, my daughter. The road will not forget your kindness." The whispers and the truth. The gossip. The market was a flurry of noise and activity when Amara arrived, but her mind kept returning to the lonely clearing. She had barely arranged her stall when she heard a voice call out, "Amara, so you have become friends with the witch?" 3 young women were staring at her, smirking. Madame Iphioma, the older trader next to her, sighed. "My daughter, people have started talking. They say she is a witch and that she eats the destiny of anyone who comes close." Amara was stunned. "Ma'am, she is just a lonely old woman struggling on her own." "Whether lonely or not, something about her is not normal," another trader insisted. Anyone who tried to help her, misfortune followed them. Rejection. The whispers grew louder. Customers avoided her stall, pretending not to see her. A young man asked loudly, "Are you not afraid? You even entered her compound?" Amara felt the fear and rejection like a slap. Business was slow, she sold only a fraction of her goods. "I didn't do anything wrong," she whispered to herself. "I only helped someone." The return. When she packed up her half-full basket, frustration burned in her chest. Why should kindness be punished? At the junction, the villagers' warnings, witch, bad luck, misfortune, echoed in her mind. But the image of the old woman, frail and grateful, echoed louder. Amara closed her eyes, then turned right, toward the narrow footpath. Deepening the bond. She found the old woman, Mama Adiku, struggling to peel yam. "Amara, you came," Mama Adiku smiled weakly. "I said I would," Amara replied, immediately kneeling to help. "People avoid me. They say I carry bad luck." "I don't believe that," Amara answered without hesitation. They worked together. Amara fetched water, swept, and helped light the fire. Mama Adiku finally broke the silence. "You are a rare child, Amara. Most people cross the road when they see me." The story. "Ma'am," Amara asked, "why do you live alone? Don't you have children?" Mama Adiku's eyes clouded over. "My story is heavy. But maybe one day, I will tell you." The next day, Amara returned despite the villagers' scorn. Mama Adiku's resolve broke. "People think I am a witch," she said, her voice trembling. "They think I brought curses upon myself, but none of that is true." She explained that she once lived in a bigger city with her only son. He was brilliant and went abroad for education. Out of jealousy, the city people spread terrible lies, forcing her to flee to Isioma to protect herself and wait for him. "I have been waiting for many years," she finished. "Ma'am, I am so sorry," Amara whispered, tears in her eyes. "You were the first person in a long time who saw me as human," Mama Adiku squeezed her hand. "Your kindness will not end in vain." Destiny revealed. The climax. For nearly a week, Amara continued her visits. Her sales dwindled, the rumors swelled, but the emptiness in Mama Adiku's compound drove her on. On the 7th day, a hot, quiet afternoon, Amara walked toward the footpath. She had finished market early and bought a small piece of smoked fish for Mama Ataku. When she reached the clearing, she froze. A silver Lexus SUV, new, shiny, and far too expensive for Isioma, was parked directly in front of the mud house. Its presence was surreal, a piece of a distant world. The sun. Then she heard a man call urgently, "Mama, Mama Ataku, where are you?" His voice was deep, polished, and foreign. The door swung open, and a tall, well-dressed man emerged. He was in his early 30s, wearing designer clothes. His presence screamed wealth and power, but his eyes were filled with worry. At that moment, Mama Ataku appeared from behind the house. "My son," she whispered. "Mama." The man rushed toward her and knelt, wrapping his arms around her frail body. "Why didn't you tell me you were living like this? My son, I waited for you. I didn't want to be a burden." "A burden? Mama, you're my mother." "You succeeded," Mama Ataku whispered. "Yes," he said softly, "but it means nothing if you are suffering." His eyes flicked around the cracked compound. "Who did this to you? Who abandoned you here? The reward?" Mama Ataku shook her head. "People can be cruel, but God sent me someone." She turned and pointed at Amara. The man followed her gaze. He stared, first in confusion, then in surprise, and finally, in something soft. "Mama, who is she?" he asked quietly. "The only person who has cared for me in years," Mama Ataku said, her lips trembling. "The only one who saw me not as a witch, but as a human being. She carried kindling, cooked for me, cleaned for me, and prayed with me." Amara's cheeks burned. "Ma'am, please. She is the child God used to keep me alive," Mama Ataku insisted. The man, Mr. Obina Uchendu, turned fully to Amara. "Thank you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for saving my mother." "I only did what anyone should do," Amara managed. "Not anyone," Obina replied firmly. "No one else helped her." "You did." Amara blinked, recognizing the name. Obina Uchendu, the one who left for education abroad, whose businesses now spanned major capitals. "I received a letter telling me my mother might not be alive," Obina explained. "I am alive," Mama Ataku squeezed his arm. "And she, Amara, is the reason I survived long enough to see you return."